The introduction of netherite in Minecraft was quite exciting, but it's also kinda stupid. So if you have a diamond pickaxe, you can go to the nether and mine up these things called ancient debris and then smelt them into netherite scraps. But what if you don't have a diamond pickaxe? What if you don't want to go mining in the nether? Well, not to worry, you can also search bastions for netherite scraps. And once you have the scraps, you can craft 4 of them into 1 netherite ingot, or find a pre-crafted ingot in a chest. They could have just stopped there, but apparently they wanted this to be a whole adventure. So not only do you need 4 netherite scraps, but you also need 4 gold ingots to craft 1 thing of netherite. And not only that, but instead of crafting with netherite the normal way, you need to use it with some diamond tool as an upgrade. So at least you won't need like 8 netherite for a chest plate. But to upgrade to netherite, you can't use a crafting table, you need a smithing table. Thankfully though, those are pretty easy to craft or find. But then when they added armor trims, they also added another requirement for getting netherite tools. You need to find an item in the nether that's literally called netherite upgrade. You can craft them using, or should I say duplicate them, since you need to have already found one of those things. So yeah, you might as well try something different for the process of obtaining netherite gear, considering where it comes from, its special properties, and the fact that Mojang hadn't added a new tier of tools in 10 years, but that process is pretty tedious. And netherite is already rare. I'm probably someone with enough patience to work towards this goal, but I imagine a lot of other people won't think it's worth it, especially since the upgrade from diamond to netherite is much smaller than the upgrade from iron to diamond. And even though netherite gear won't be destroyed if it falls in fire or lava, you'll probably be smart enough to not let that happen by the time the journey is over. So I already mentioned that you need to combine gold and netherite scraps to get netherite, one of the strongest materials in Minecraft. But wait a minute, not only are the scraps just scraps, but gold is a soft metal. Maybe this upgrade is actually fair. But then what about the supposed pure netherite that the piglins found? Wouldn't that be the netherite you find in their chests? Why, yes, it would be. But then when you apply it to your diamond equipment, it has the same properties as recycled netherite. It was definitely the right call for gameplay consistency, but it doesn't add up with this bit of lore given to us. Unless you just assume this netherite is the same as our recycled netherite, like I've subconsciously done for years. Also, if the piglins already have a bunch of netherite, why do they never use it? Are they just scared of wasting something so scarce? I have no other reason to believe it was rare before. Did they already use it? Probably. Might I also add that this netherite upgrade item doesn't make sense? Not only does it add gameplay consistency for the worse, since it just makes the process of getting the tools even more tedious, but what specific role does this item even play in the upgrade? I can believe 2 diamonds on a stick just shape into a sword, but what about this? And in the nether update trailer, Alex is just hammering netherite onto a sword, so how does this item change the process? Why does she even need to apply this to diamonds in the first place? What makes both of our versions of netherite unable to be traditionally crafted with? The upgrade item could probably answer that question, but nothing suggests its role in the process. It literally was just added for gameplay consistency, with no consideration for the world building. I don't play Minecraft for the story, but that doesn't mean this isn't stupid. The Mojang staff once said after the Nether update that if they wanted to add a new tier of tools, they would want it to have more unique capabilities instead of just doing it the old way where every greater material of tool essentially makes the last obsolete. Then they added copper tools for the Copper Age. They're a little better than stone tools in terms of basic statistics, and that's it. They set the precedent that new tool tiers should be unique, and then they didn't follow through with it. I guess it's good for having more options, but at the same time, have you ever been in a situation where copper is more accessible than stone? That's like some challenge run or Minecraft manhunt type shit. And they don't even oxidize. I don't know what you could do with the concept of oxidizing tools, and that would also mean we'd have a tool called waxed weathered copper pickaxe, but come on. So in conclusion, netherite is stupid. Later, Gator.